Dave, I know you've always enjoyed a good cigar, but when did you become sort of have your mission to inform people about the joys of great cigars and smoking them and how to preserve them and have them nice for when you want to use them?
Yeah.
And tell us about your YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, so I've been smoking cigars for, I don't know, decades. Let's just go with that. And probably about, I don't know, 10 to 12 years ago, I'd been smoking cigars, but then I started getting more into vintage stuff. And I read this book called The Illustrated Encyclopedia of Post-Revolution Havana Cigars. And that's a mouthful. And so the author of that book, he created this book, a 500-page book with a lot of information in it. So I started going through that book and reading it about vintage cigars and tasting notes and all that kind of stuff, and it really piqued my interest. And so now, yeah, I did the channel and all that kind of stuff. So go ahead.
Yeah. What does your channel consist of? You talk about certain cigars from different parts of, you know, like, I mean, people always know about Cuban cigars, but there's cigars from many different South American countries and countries all over the world. And what are, like, is there a flavor difference, smoke, you know, how fast they burn kind of thing? Do they change up that kind of way? Is there like a essence of...
Well, I mean, different tobaccos have different types of flavors and profiles and so on and so forth. So you have Cuban tobacco, which is kind of like the king of the tobacco strains or whatever it is, because of the way that the soil is, the microclimates there and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like they have a monopoly on this great tasting tobacco. So what happened is when Castro took over, there was a lot of people that left Cuba and took Cuban seed with them to, like, Nicaragua, Honduras, Costa Rica, Ecuador, all through there. I mean, there's a lot of places where people took Cuban seed and they grow it. So, but the thing is that a lot of those places, the tobacco, it just doesn't have the same type of flavor as a Cuban tobacco.
Because it's not grown in the same dirt and the soil and the mineral base kind of thing?
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of speculation as to why that is, but they say that, like, Cuba has various microclimates that are just different. The soil's different. Like a lot of the soil, like Nicaragua, though, is a real hotbed for tobacco. We were talking about Mexico today. Mexico grows tobacco. There's
you talked about, like, Canada and like what's the difference in things like from the U.S. or Canada? I mean, it's all different kind of...
Yeah, there's all kinds of different types of tobacco that are growing all over the place. Now, Canadian tobacco I'm not too sure on, but in Connecticut, they have Connecticut shade grown wrapper. So that's wrapper leaf that they grow in Connecticut to wrap around the outside of the cigar, because a hand-rolled cigar has the filler that they put in there, then they take a binder leaf and they roll that around there, put everything together, and then finally they put a wrapper leaf around that to where it looks pretty. So, and then there's a lot of speculation on that too, whether, you know, like some people say, oh, wrapper leaf on the outside of the cigar contributes a lot to the flavor of the cigar. There's other people that say it doesn't really, not so much. So, but it makes the cigar look good. So, anyway.